Hi everybody, TJ Mack of Vintage Cards and Nostalgia here. And in last week's video I showed this Baseball Stars magazine from 1956. And I had some comment that they wanted to know who the 10 were that are can't miss for the Hall of Fame that is shown here on the cover. Well, I'll get to that in a bit. A few weeks ago I added this beautiful 1954 Bowman Robin Roberts to my collection. And it really relates to this 1956 magazine that I just showed. Roberts, along with Whitey Ford and Billy Pierce, were thought to be the three best pitchers in baseball at the time, according to the magazine. And the magazine provided various rankings to include the 10 best infielders, outfielders, and hitters. And we'll cover that another day. But I just can't stress enough how much magazine collecting is intertwined with my card collecting. I've shown more and more magazines on my channel over the past year or so. In my spare time, I find myself reading more and more vintage magazines rather than books that speak about baseball from a historical perspective. Now, I still enjoy reading books here and there, but the magazines have really drawn me in. I'm becoming more and more fascinated with contemporary viewpoints of players. And there's just also something special about holding a magazine from that era and getting a whiff of the aged paper that takes me back to the days when these players were young and roaming the hallowed grounds of places like Connie Mack Stadium and Comiskey Park. Now, magazines also capture the culture of the time with the advertising, the writing style, and telling the stories of the upcoming players and stars of the day, many of which are long forgotten within these pages. Players such as Boston's towering pitcher Frank Sullivan. Standing at 6'7", he was viewed entering 1956 as the sixth best player in baseball. The 1955 All-Star came off an 18-13 season where he tied Whitey Ford for the league lead in wins and was fourth in ERA at 2.91. This article tells us there are high expectations for him and maybe he'll lead Boston to the front of the line. He has a 20-game season ahead of him that they believe is fairly easy to reach, and he might be the best pitcher in baseball in a few years to come. He could have won 20 in 1955 if he didn't lose 5 of his starts to the New York Yankees. Now, if you were a Boston fan growing up in 1956, you had to be excited about this young pitcher. Well, in spite of all that was written in this article, winning 20 games is never easy. Frank went on to make the All-Star game in 1956, finishing 14-7. Through 1959, he was 75-53, with an ERA hovering over 3, before a back injury derailed his career. From 1960 until his retirement at age 33, he was 22-47, finishing his career with a mediocre 97-100 record. He never got that 20-win season. When I bought this magazine, I thought I would enjoy reading the article on Mickey Mantle the most, and it was very good. But really, what captured my attention was just how great a pitcher Robin Roberts was. I knew he was the Phillies' workhorse from 1950 to 1955, and was, in my view, the best pitcher in baseball, but I just didn't realize how dominant he was. I read an article in The Athletic that from 1950 to 1955, his WAR was 46.9, which was higher than the career of 17 pitchers in the Hall of Fame. Now, the Cy Young Award didn't exist until 1956, and by then, Roberts, who averaged a remarkable 323 innings per season, which was by far the highest in baseball during those 6 stellar years, was never the same pitcher as he was before. You can make a strong case that Robin would have won 3 Cy Youngs during that time, and finish in the top 5 the other 3 years. And that is in all of baseball, not just the National League. He was that good. The magazine just showed me how great he was. It talked about, even then, winning 20 games during that time in back-to-back seasons wasn't common. Roberts did it 6 years in a row. Yes, he was known to allow a lot of home runs, but as the magazine points out, his great control would work against him as batters would dig in, knowing there was little chance they would get hit by a pitch. Robin was viewed as just being too polite on the mound. Now to seal the deal on just how great Robin Roberts was, let's look at the 10 that the magazine selected to make the Hall of Fame. You have Ted Williams, Casey Stengel, both longtime baseball men and no-brainers by 1956. Then on the next page, you have Bob Feller and Stan Musial. Again, no-brainers. Then you have Robin Roberts, who was only 29 years old at the time. He was viewed as a superstar that does not appear more than once in a generation. His run of dominance got the magazine writer's attention. We are told he will be alongside the immortals such as Walter Johnson, Christy Mathewson, and Lefty Grove. And I love this quote: "There can be no question that the gates of Cooperstown Hall of Fame will be open for the peerless pitcher." Well, the magazine writers got it right. Roberts did get in the Hall of Fame, but the gates didn't open right away. He was elected with 86.9% of the vote in 1976. His struggles after 1955 closed the gate some, but not enough to keep one of the best of his era out. So how did the magazine do with the other predictions? Phil Brizzuto did get in, but not until 1994 by the Veterans Committee. Then you have Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, and Yogi Berra, who were all elected by the sports writers. Then at the end is Pee Wee Reese, who made it by the Veterans Committee in 1984. So they were 10 for 10. But Robin was the only one who was still in the middle of his career when he was viewed this way as a can't miss. How impressive is that? This makes my Robin Roberts collection all the more sweeter due to the power within the pages of this magazine. Everybody have a great weekend.